recycle them. We all have a part to play in protecting our environment from pollution. We are building Jamaica.
Get ready to be inspired. Join us on PBCJ's Giving Hearts, the show that celebrates kindness, compassion, and generosity.
So we try to give books, shoes, lunch snacks, and uniform allowance.
We'll share powerful stories of individuals and organizations making a difference across the island each week.
My mother and I felt the need to keep helping children with special needs and other children.
From ordinary people doing extraordinary things to organizations driving positive change.
And we haul up garbage, whether with our nets, hooks, picks.
Giving Hearts will warm your heart and inspire you to take action. Don't miss Giving Hearts, airing Sundays at 8 p.m. with a rebroadcast on Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. exclusively on PBCJ, the People's Station.
If you want to volunteer, definitely do it. You get actually a rewarding feeling after.
Join the movement. Spread love. Give from the heart. Giving Hearts, Sundays at 8 p.m., Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. on PBCJ. Follow us on social media at PBC Jamaica for updates and more inspiring stories.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, one and all, short and tall, big and small. I'm so honored that you are choosing to spend time with Amina from Kingston, Jamaica.
Spend time with Amina. Saturdays at 2 p.m. inside the Children's Corner, right here on PBCJ.
The winner of the Marcus Garvey Award for Excellence in the Performing Arts is Arden High!
You could be the 2025 winner, but it starts with your entry, which is now easier than ever with our new online platform. Just log on at jcdc.gov.jm. Entries close December 13. Log on now, jcdc.gov.jm.
Denise Williams here, inviting you to join us on Financially Focused, the ultimate destination for go-getters who are ready to take the step-by-step actions to master your finances and create a family legacy. Tune in, watch, take notes, and participate to discover the strategies of our expert guests who provide invaluable guidance and powerful coaching tools to supercharge your financial journey.
Tune in to Financially Focused, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. only on PBCJ, the People's Station.
In our riverine and marine spaces are also part of tourism, and so that has to be a major part of our concerns.
Let's Talk Goals, Thursdays at 8 p.m. only on PBCJ, the People's Station.
Jamaica has more than 28 species of birds, land snails, reptiles, amphibians, and hundreds of flowering plants that are only found in Jamaica. I am Marlon Samuels. Join me to learn more about Jamaica's native and endemic flora and fauna.
Know your natives and endemics. Sundays at 11:15 a.m. exclusively on PBCJ, the People's Station.
The one can
camping tent. I'm gonna show you why I'm about.
End up here over here, son of a lift up now.
Welcome to Flatbridge.
The infamous Dopey Church.
I never afraid.
If you wash your face with rice water, then you can see Dopey.
No, I don't want to say Dopey, no.
If I turn the yoke to the left, then the airplane will bank to the left.
Oh, that! Oh, that! Where's my bicycle, dog?
And I welcome you to this week's post-cabinet press briefing, and it is going to be another jam-packed one. As usual, we have a lot of special guests with us this morning to go through many items. We have the Honorable Favour Williams, our Minister of Finance and the Public Service. We also have the Honorable Matthew Samuda, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, with responsibility for water, environment, climate change, and the blue and green economies. We have Dr. Kassan Troop, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth, and Information. And we also have Dr. Terry Ann Thomas Gale, our Acting Chief Education Officer, Dr. Tanisha Ingleton, the Managing Director of Heart NSTA Trust, and there are many members of the Heart NSTA Trust team here with us. As usual, the team from GIS and OPM and all the members of the media who are here, and Jamaicans watching at home and abroad, good morning to you again. And I'm going to start with a few quick updates. As many of you would have heard in the news on Sunday, Prime Minister Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness gave many updates, and he made a series of very thoughtful announcements of our government's plans and programs to further respond to the cost of living crisis. And it's important for me to note that it's really a suite of responses to the cost of living crisis. And as you go around Jamaica and you talk to people around Jamaica, they're constantly talking about the pressures they're feeling. When they go to the supermarket, when they go to the market, you hear it time after time. And so the government has heard, the Prime Minister has heard, and he has put in place a suite of measures that are aimed at addressing that. And that was what he was outlining. And today we do have our Minister of Finance and the Public Service here to speak on some of those in more detail. And we also have Minister Samuda here who will also speak on some of those. But there are many. And so you have to look at it as a suite of initiatives. Some affect some more than others, but it's a suite. It's many different initiatives. So starting from the reverse tax credit that Minister Williams will speak about, that one-time payment of $20,000 to registered Jamaican taxpayers earning less than $3 million. The income tax threshold increase that was done. The PATH benefits increases, 30% increase benefiting 236,000 people. The social pension program, which is benefiting 15,000 elderly Jamaicans. These are Jamaicans over 75 years old who do not have a pension. They're extremely vulnerable, and the administration has made it a priority to take care of them. That's a part of the suite of interventions. We also spoke to a new social program that will come into effect next year, which will offer a one-time cash grant of $20,000 to unregistered vulnerable persons aged 18 plus. There are many individuals who are not on PATH and who are struggling and need support and do not earn in the normal manner to qualify for the relief that Minister Williams has given. And so that's another initiative that was announced for those that may fall out of any of the various categories that we're providing support for. The Prime Minister also noted the reduction of GCT on electricity, and that will be discussed further by Minister Williams. He also spoke to a prepaid system and time of day pricing to better encourage different usages at different times. And also that could help consumers to have more control over when they do things, when they consume, and therefore have greater control over their electricity bills. He also spoke to the electrification program, where we're going to be working more closely with communities that are currently not regularized. I don't think there's any Jamaican who wants to sit down and says, I don't really want to pay. There are many Jamaicans who just cannot afford. And so the prepaid meters are absolutely important, and we are going to help poor Jamaicans to regularize themselves and be able to be a part of that formal process. And so that's a key other initiative that was announced. He also announced many things that Minister Samuda will go into details in terms of water and cushioning that cost there, and also a debt amnesty. There are many Jamaicans who owe money and they're struggling to pay it back. And so these write-offs are really supposed to be targeted at those individuals who are struggling, and especially our pensioners and those in vulnerable households. And he also spoke to the repayment plans and leak detection assistance, which will obviously affect everyone, and Minister Samuda will speak to those. He also spoke to the JUTC expansion of the fleet of buses in rural areas, and the fact that we will be bringing in new buses. We know that using JUTC in many instances is much cheaper. And so that's another way that we're trying to cushion the cost of living crisis in terms of making transportation cheaper. He spoke also to a cashless system for school transportation. We know parents are sometimes struggling with the cost to transport their children to school. So that's another initiative that the Prime Minister announced. He also announced initiatives for craft vendors who may be struggling and cannot pay the fees that they have to pay, and waiving some of those fees. He also spoke to the cost parents are facing when they're sending their children to school with auxiliary fees, and the need to curtail those auxiliary fees. And so what I'm saying is that when we think about the announcements, we can't take one piece in isolation. It is a suite of initiatives that are aimed at reaching as many Jamaicans as possible in terms of addressing the cost of living crisis. And the Cabinet is continuing to look at other initiatives to see how we can further help Jamaicans who we know are struggling in terms of meeting their needs. And so all these announcements are really showing the proactive nature of the government in not just talking, but really sitting down and thinking about how are we going to make the lives of Jamaicans better. Last week, the Prime Minister also announced the new Aspire Jamaica initiative, where he said we were pivoting from where we were in terms of all the focus being on fiscal stability to focusing on economic growth. We're only going to get to the Jamaica that we want, where we see prosperity, if we have growth in the economy. And so there is a shift in terms of thinking to focus more on growth. And it's not, and I think we have to put this into context. If you're building a house, you can't start by building the second floor. You have to build the foundation. And the foundation of our economy is based on fiscal stability. That's what Minister Williams is all about, how we keep things stable. And that's what we've had to do over the last decade, focus on that. But now that we've built the foundation, now we can start building the various floors and the rooms and putting in the windows and everything. And that is what growth is about. So it is not a shift in anything. It is just a natural progression. It's the next step. We spent 10 years rescuing our economy and getting it on a stable footing, where when a hurricane comes, we actually have funds that we can pay out to repair the damage. You saw what Minister Williams did with education. A lot of our schools were damaged after Beryl, but we were able to open in September. That's because of good fiscal management, and that was absolutely necessary. And so the next phase, having done that, having accomplished that for 10 years of hard work, We're now saying it's time to focus on growing the economy. And there are certain elements to it. And of course, it is economic opportunity for all, inclusive growth, having real deep attention to the social needs of the country and ensuring that every single Jamaican is benefiting from this growth agenda. Safety and security was the other element the Prime Minister spoke to, because it's absolutely important that our communities are safe. The cost of security is high in our country. And so it is obviously a key peg. If we're thinking about economic growth, we have to think about that. Human capital development, he spoke a lot about this. The Prime Minister is committed to this area, and it is an area that we have to focus on as a country, especially in terms of education and skills development. Infrastructure development is the other one, and then the reform of the bureaucracy. It's so hard to do business, and we understand that. And so in terms of getting to economic growth, we have to address that. And the last component of the Aspire Jamaica Economic Growth Program is economic diversification and the identification of new industries. And that is Aspire Jamaica, and I know you'll be hearing a lot more about it, and every week I will speak to Aspire Jamaica. And so I'm going to move on very quickly this morning, and we have with us our newish Minister of Finance and the Public Service and former Minister of Education, I have to say, who did a fantastic job there, who is going to come to speak to you on some of the matters in relation to finance, but also looking at some of the initiatives that the Prime Minister would have announced. Please welcome the Honourable Favour Williams.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Let me acknowledge Senator the Honourable Dana Morris-Dixon and the Honourable Matthew Samuda, and to say again congratulations on the win, Minister Samuda. Let me acknowledge as well some of my favorite people from education, P.S. Truve, and Dr. Terry and Thomas Gale, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, Jamaicans all, good morning again. It is a pleasure to be here this morning and to say how pleased I am that we continue to positively impact the lives of Jamaicans. Yesterday, I took to the Parliament the Civil Service Establishment Act to ask for affirmative resolution, and it's because we added 1,105 new posts to the JCF to formalize excess staffing capacity for civilian staff in accordance with a cabinet decision. This will increase the levels of job security and access to certain employees in terms of benefits, health and pension, which will boost the morale and reduce the likelihood of staff upheaval. For the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, it was a total of 452 new posts that were created in addition to the reclassification and upgrade of additional posts. This was done as a result of an organizational review, which was done with the aim of streamlining operations and productivity within the local offices and head office of the ministry. The additional staffing capacity is expected to improve inspection, compliance, and general revenue generation capacity, improve data tracking and records management, strengthen the customer service framework, and enhance communication between Ministry of Labour and Social Security and citizens at points of contact. We also established 199 new posts with the Ministry of Health and Wellness to address inefficiencies in the public health system due to the growing demand for healthcare services that we are seeing. And I must mention as well earlier, during my time at the Ministry of Education and Youth, the 4,720 permanently established posts for educational institutions. These posts were established earlier this year as part of this overall thrust to ensure that persons are working within posts. The total of 4,720 represents individuals who would have been working in the school system for decades, but they were working temporarily and would not have been appointed to a permanent post until the cabinet decision that addressed that matter. So I'm pleased that we continue to work to positively impact the lives of Jamaicans. I move on now to the announcement that the Prime Minister made on Sunday night with regards to restructuring GCT on our electricity bills. So Prime Minister Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness announced the restructuring of GCT on electricity bills for 2025. And I want Jamaicans to know that this is part of an overall bigger effort to reduce electricity costs in Jamaica. As you know, Jamaica ranks in the top 20 of countries globally with high electricity costs at about US 35 cents, or to put it in Jamaican terms, Jamaican $56 per kilowatt hour. And I know most persons may have a hard time visualizing what that means. So I'm going to take something that you know. If you have a small fridge, say a 3.5 cubic feet fridge, it uses approximately 2.5 kilowatt hours per day. That translates into 140 Jamaican dollars per day, which sounds like a small amount of money. However, when you multiply that by 30 days for the month, you're talking about $4,200. So add to that light, AC, fan, washing machine, and you can see how your bill can get bigger very quickly. So other efforts to help reduce electricity costs include adding more renewables to the grid, and the Portfolio Minister, Minister Vaz, will speak to this in time. I am focused on the restructuring of GCT that was announced. What this will do is allow JPS to aggressively roll out nationally its prepaid service, giving Jamaicans more control over how much electricity they use and when they use it. Jamaicans with prepaid service can buy however much electricity they need, $100, $500, $1,000, and as often as they need to. So they can better match their income pattern with their affordability. And the prepaid service will be available to anyone, uptown, downtown, country people, town people, landlords who have tenants. And I understand that one of the biggest headaches for landlords are sometimes tenants who vacate the property and leave a high bill. They can better control that now. People who do Airbnb, they can convert to prepaid and they don't have to fret about the bill when that Airbnb person leaves. So there are immeasurable benefits to the restructuring of GCT on electricity because of the different types of innovative services that it will allow our power provider to offer to Jamaicans. And oh yes, how could I forget? Going prepaid means you will never be surprised by a high electricity bill anymore. And that's a big benefit. It is estimated that 30% of those who use electricity in Jamaica are not paying for it. That is not good for us as a country. It puts undue stress on the grid. You know that unabated high levels of theft can lead to fires, which can result in the loss of lives, as well as damage to extremely expensive equipment such as transformers, fuses, and other important hardware. Alongside that, we will work with the vulnerable Jamaicans to ensure safe access through house wiring programs, ensuring that we help in terms of the inspection, paying for the inspection of the house so that they can get safe access to electricity. We believe that this is a significant benefit for Jamaica as a whole. And when I asked the electric company that if we were able to wave a magic wand and have this all happen tomorrow, what would our electricity bills look like? And together with all these initiatives, not just the restructuring of the GCT, but also the significant rollout of the prepaid and the reduction that would cause in theft of electricity, anywhere from 25 to 30%, was what they were saying over time. So that is a big savings that we should work towards. And I'm happy to be here at this point in time to help to make that happen. I turn now to the reverse income tax credit. In March 2024, when the then Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, proposed the reverse income tax credit initiative, it was met with much skepticism and doubt. Persons felt that $20,000 was not large enough incentive and that persons would not be compelled by this one-off payment. But I'm here to say that is not so. By November 29th, which is Friday of this year, some 290,912 taxpayers who earn $3 million or less would have received their individual $20,000, making the reverse income tax credit a first in the history of Jamaica and a big deal. $5.8 billion would have been given back to persons. Just yesterday, I had to go to a popular pharmacy to buy something, and as soon as I walked into the door, no fewer than four women came running towards me asking me, when are they going to get their $20,000? So I said, did you register? Yes, Mom. Did you get a text message? Yes, we did. Well, I said, it's coming this week. Right, so let me also share that if you haven't yet applied, you can do so up until Monday, December 2nd. And I think that completes, Senator, my presentation for this morning. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. All right, Naomi, I think we should take questions for Minister Williams now.
Sure, no problem, Minister. Good morning, everyone.
If there are any.
I think Minister was crystal clear, but I'm not sure if our media representatives have any questions. I'm not seeing any hands so far.
Oh, good.
I hear not yet.
Not yet. Okay, that means
right.
you can't leave Minister
Yeah.
Williams. But of course, as you heard, 290,000 Jamaicans are getting their $20,000. That is meaningful. That means a lot. It's a big, big deal. And there was skepticism before. But we've been able to show that it can happen and the Jamaicans really do appreciate it. And Minister, I keep hearing people asking why they can't get the 20,000. You know, everybody who's not been able to get it is asking how can they get the 20,000 too. And so I think this has been a really great initiative. And I thank you and the staff of the Ministry of Finance for doing it so seamlessly. There was not a complicated process. And a lot of individuals have said that they really did appreciate how it was done. All right, so let's move on. We're going to move on to the Honorable, I was going to say Senator, but it's not Senator anymore. It's MP. So the Honorable Matthew Samuda.
Thank you, Minister Dixon. Allow me to acknowledge colleague Minister, the Honorable Favour Williams, Permanent Secretaries, Chief Technical Directors, senior members of ministry, senior members of government, and of course, the media. We also welcome those who join us weekly by way of the live feed. Jamaica has long been plagued by the results of chronic underinvestment in our water sector as a result of an economy which was too weak to invest post-1988. This has been exacerbated by what the United Nations Environment Programme has dubbed the triple planetary crisis. This crisis contemplates the impact of climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution that they're having on our planet. Jamaica has not been spared the impact of any of these crises, and to be frank, if we review our post-independence performance, it would be impatient of debate that we have not always been good stewards of the environment. Despite this, Jamaica has long confirmed its commitment to the UN Sustainable Goal number 6, which states that we must ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. And Jamaica has further always committed to achieving this by way of Vision 2030, which further states, or rather further recognizes that water, sanitation, and hygiene is linked to human health, the protection of ecosystems, the reduction of poverty, as well as sustainable and inclusive economic growth. The policy approach to achieving this important ambition of universal access to potable water and sanitation for Jamaicans is well documented through our water policy of 2019. The move to safeguard our microclimate along with our sensitive ecosystems, including our primary forests, rivers, and watersheds, is well documented with a suite of policies, legislation, and buffered by regulatory actions of this government in recent years. I, however, wish to use my limited time this morning here at the post-cabinet briefing to focus on the announcement made at the Jamaica Labour Party's annual conference by the Prime Minister, the Most Honourable Andrew Michael Holness, in relation to citizens with debts to the National Water Commission. I will use this move to also further explain, or rather further articulate, how the Prime Minister intends to use this amnesty to further the ambition stated above, while also helping to alleviate the impacts of inflation on the society. To remind those present here and those listening live, along with those who will benefit from the reporting of the media covering the press conference today, I think it's important to state exactly what we have committed to. For customers who have been disconnected for debts to the National Water Commission for 2 years or more of outstanding payments, who are pensioners, or who are assessed as in need based on the path beneficiary identification standards, the NWC will write off the debt totally and waive reconnection fees. This will allow persons to reconnect legally and facilitate the transfer of titles where outstanding bills are a challenge. Secondly, for persons who have been disconnected for longer than 6 months, who come in and make payment arrangements, we will discount that debt by 50%, or further, based on a needs assessment and allow for up to 1 year for repayment. This is aimed at giving relief to those persons who are suffering the weight of bills from major household leaks in the past. This amnesty will last for 3 months and will commence on January 2nd. We will also go further, especially for our pensioners. For those who would have been disconnected because of high water bills due to leaks, the National Water Commission will work with HART and its tranche of trained leak detection specialists to ensure that leak detection specialists go to the homes of pensioners at no cost to them to identify the leaks. Now, we think this is particularly important so that pensioners do not find themselves back in the same position again. Now, this will benefit from the partnership of the HART NSTA and, of course, the NWC. But it's important that colleagues here understand the scale of the challenge and the scale of the intervention that is indeed being made by this government under the Prime Minister. Receivables, aged receivables in excess of 6 months for the National Water Commission is in excess of 58 billion Jamaican dollars. As a subset of these receivables related to debts longer than 2 years, so the portion over 2 years is 45 billion Jamaican dollars. So there's a $13 billion gap. So important for those listening to understand the potential write-down of 50% between the 6-month and 2-year gap is $6.5 billion, give or take. So persons have the ability to get $6.5 billion of benefit, of relief from this government. Beyond that, and this is the important part because I think people need to understand how much of this is uncollectible or uncollectible by all reasonable accounting standards. Beyond that, and as a subset, you have a set above 5 years in receivables. Now, that set of the set above 2 years is over $50 billion. So you start to see the challenge that you face. Now, another factor that we'd like the media to understand is that over 40% of the value per debt is usually lost in reclaiming this amount or going after this legal costs and settlement concerns, etc. So regardless of the $58 billion, you have a problem where 40% would go into the costs of debt collectors, lawyers, etc. So you understand what is possible and what is not possible. Now, this was not a knee-jerk reaction. This is an expansion of an initiative that was undertaken by the National Water Commission over the last 12 months in Portmore, St. Catherine, in some of our quadrants where we had particularly high levels of NRW, where we went in and we've done our NRW work, but we still saw significant household usage and significant theft in some areas. We have seen where we're able to bring back thousands of customers which were disconnected through individual discussions. What this represents to the National Water Commission is a national wholesale effort at having the conversation with Jamaicans that you can come in, we do care, we do think it critically important for you to be connected to the National Water Commission system formally, and we will offer relief. This has represented an albatross around the necks of Jamaicans, and it is this government that is seeking to reduce and ultimately remove this sum from them. It affects in excess of 155,000 customers, all with families. It has forced many persons to resort to either buying expensive trucked water, using rainwater harvesting where it was not necessary, and unfortunately in many cases bypassing water meters illegally. We believe that this initiative and amnesty will achieve the following. It will return individual and legal connections to potable water to tens of thousands of Jamaicans. It will return comfort and dignity to our pensioners and those living below the poverty line who have been affected by this debt and disconnected from the National Water Commission. It will reduce the need for purchase of expensive trucked water to those affected, whereby reducing the cost of living to those who are affected who access water from trucking sources. As I had mentioned, it has been proven in our limited pilot project in Portmore that where amnesty and consideration and concern is offered, we are able to bring back thousands of customers and get them back into paying and getting access. So this benefits the NWC, it benefits citizens of Jamaica. This initiative is in line with our national ambition for potable water access and our stated national imperative to reduce the cost of living. To ensure this amnesty does not overrun the normal operations of the NWC offices, a help desk and special line will be put in place. We will also make temporary capacity increases in staffing where necessary. Further, we will work closely with the Ministry of Labour, the RGD, and the NLA to ensure that those who qualify are verified. This amnesty offers benefit by our initial estimates to over 30,000 account holders. We expect that number to increase, and when that number is finalized, we will confirm same through the media. I am not usually prone to responding to the opposition, but there are 2 points I believe that should be made. First, the suggestion of a flat rate in 2016 ignores that the National Water Commission and the government's treasury couldn't afford it. That's first, and if one looks back at the annual reports of the Water Commission, 2012 through 2015, there's something consistent. It's called a deficit. It's also called a period of disinvestment. The National Water Commission, secondly, cannot contemplate reduction in sewerage rates. It is sewerage rates that are bolstering our infrastructure program, that have offset significant increases in staff costs of over $400 million monthly post the reclassification exercise, and also helping the Water Commission with the problem that the government is helping households with, which is high electricity bills. So that is not on the table if we agree that SDG 6 and indeed Vision 2030's potable water goals are to be met. So I want that to be clearly understood. But a comment was further made about the management of the sector, and that is quite frankly laughable when one considers that the last 2 years the NWC has been able to operate with a surplus and deploy billions of dollars of capital investments that have actively improved number of households served and households served at our national standard of 23 hours per day by 150,000 households. So some of them were connected before, a large portion, but we have upgraded and made far more reliable the level of service that they get. And the maps have been shared by myself and the Prime Minister multiple times. We can go community by community, and I'd be happy to dive into the numbers with any member of the press that would like so to do. But to the point of the need for revenue, as well as the need to bring back our citizens on the Water Commission's lines, it's important to note that between the National Water Commission and the Rural Water Supply Limited, between them it is 74 total capital projects that are underway across the length and breadth of this country that will see improved, more resilient, more reliable water supply to over 400,000 persons over the next 12 to 18 months. That does not include our PPPs, which we have announced, which we expect to go into overdrive in the first quarter of next year. That does not include our CDB-funded projects, which we also expect to go into overdrive, which will see the single largest investment in rural water supply in Jamaica in the first quarter of next year. But all of that aside, all of the investment that is required to realize our national ambition for water supply has to be underpinned that while realizing this ambition, our citizens must have access to potable water where it is already possible and must have the dignity and ability to pay their bills. As such, this is a good initiative for the people of Jamaica. It's a good initiative for the National Water Commission, and we look forward to realizing the benefits of our pensioners getting back water where they've been disconnected, of those on path getting back water where they've been disconnected, and certainly of the National Water Commission having more active customers paying their bills on a monthly basis. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Samuda. I will open it up again, Naomi, to the media. If there are any questions, I thought that was very, very clear. The government has been doing quite a lot of work, and you too, Minister Samuda, to see NWC go to a place where it has a surplus is no easy task at all. And so I commend you and the NWC team also for the work that you have been doing. Naomi?
Thank you, Minister. And there really is that sense of social justice, ensuring that our people, are able to access these matters. Question then now from our regular, Mahiri.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Mahiri Stewart here from Nationwide News. Question to Minister Samuda, how was COP29?
COP29 was led by a senior team of government officials. You'd recall that I was sworn back into the cabinet on October 30th. The costs that would have come back for me to participate in person were extreme and quite frankly scandalous, and we opted to participate digitally at the ministerial level. But we did have in excess of 10 senior government officials who participated in person, and certainly digitally I participated in 20 sessions at all hours of the night and morning because of the time difference. COP29, however, was not what the developing world needs, and unfortunately, several of the commitments ring hollow.
All right. And secondly, this is a question to Minister Williams. Minister. If possible. How do you respond to people out there, critics rather, that see the initiatives being put forward as vote, or let's say an attempt to buy votes in the lead up to the upcoming general election?
And which initiative in particular?
Specifically the one regarding GCT on electricity.
Okay, I can say without fear of contradiction that this particular initiative was one on which I worked during my first round at the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. And when I got back there and realized where it was, I had to pick it up again. And so here we are. So this has nothing to do with elections. It's a project that was started then, many years ago, and it's one that's even more worthy now to get executed, and we are doing that.
Can I just add something to that, please, Mahiri? And I've heard those comments. The cabinet has been speaking about the cost of living crisis for a long time, for several months, and Jamaicans have been speaking about it quite a bit. And the initiatives that the Prime Minister spoke to were just some of the initiatives that the cabinet has been exploring, and those are the ones that are the most advanced. So in no way is this a gimmick. This is really the administration listening to the people of Jamaica and doing it in a very responsible manner, looking at where is their fiscal space, where can we do it, how can we make sure that every Jamaican can benefit from the suite of initiatives that we have put into place. This is not a gimmick. This is about the people of Jamaica, who many of them are hurting. They don't want us to be playing games, and the administration is not playing games. We're listening to them and we're responding.
Yeah, final one? Okay. A second question I was going to have was to you, Minister.
Oh, okay.
Can you give us an update on the school security policy that's currently being drafted? And in light of what's taken place this week, will there be something in there in regards to bomb threats?
Mm-hmm. All right. So the school security policy, as I had announced before, will be done this month, which is in a few days. And that is a priority of the ministry. But we don't just sit around and wait for the policy to be put in place. There are a lot of initiatives that are already in place, working with the JCF in terms of having support in our schools. What we see happening in our schools is really a reflection of what's happening in our broader society. And it is being brought into the school environment. And we're going to have to deal with it on multiple fronts. And that's why the Ministry of Education and the PS is here and the CEO is here if they want to add anything to what I'm saying. We have to look at parenting. The parenting element is absolutely important. And so we're putting measures into place in terms of parenting. We have to do the work on the psychosocial elements that are a concern. A lot of our children are coming to school traumatized. They have trauma in their homes, they have trauma in their communities. And so it's not just about teaching them when they come to school. We're also having to think about their psyche and giving counseling. And so we are, as a ministry, having to be looking at how do we have more guidance counselors? How do we have more of those types of initiatives? In some schools, we are doing cognitive behavioral therapy, because that's how wounded our children are. So when we talk about security in our schools, it is a very multi-layered issue that we are facing, and it is very important to us as the ministry, which is why we're updating the policy and prioritizing it to be done within a few days. But we're also continuing to have conversations with the JCF and also looking to other social parts of the government that can support us in providing the needed services to our families and to our children. And so I don't know, PS, if there's anything you want to add, you're good. But it is, we will come back and we'll talk through the elements of the school safety policy. The bomb threats is obviously one that is an issue. I'm trying not to speak about it too much because I don't want to be giving these people who are doing it any more airtime than they really should get. They are terrorizing our children. they are preventing them from doing their work. It is not something that we should be giving a lot of publicity to. The police are on it, and they have some leads, and they are dealing with it, and we get updates periodically from the police on it, but it is something that's completely unacceptable.
Thank you so much. Very, very comprehensive response. I have one online for Minister Williams, if you would, Minister. So one of our online viewers asking the question, how do you respond to criticism that the government has done nothing regarding bureaucracy and that Jamaica is ranked the best in doing business under a previous administration?
I don't have the numbers at my fingertips. I don't know that to be true. But I know we've had a focus on improving efficiency in government. And you can look at just the level of technology that has been brought into the government at different levels. The other day, I went to a ceremony in which TAJ, the Tax Administration of Jamaica, celebrated 10 years as a semi-autonomous agency, and there was a long list of services that you could get online at TAJ, and if you recall, years back, you were not able to get those services. That's efficiency when we talk about efficiency in government. So every day, in some part of government, we're scanning files, we're putting them online, greater access. Just recently, I heard the Minister of Health and Wellness talk about the ability of patients when they go to the hospital. Their records are available online, it gets passed through to the next stage and the next stage, and he even said the days of lost records are over. You know, you don't have to wait because somebody has to go into a room somewhere to try to find your file. So that's just an example of the efforts at work in government to increase efficiency and productivity.
Thank you, Minister.
I would have just added something to that. I mean, when I went back to the Doing Business report, and I know that I used to work on that some years ago when I was in the government. Jamaica ranked below many other Caribbean countries for a long time. I think our highest ranking was in 2017. And so I think some of the rhetoric that's out there in relation to Jamaica's ranking is not correct. And all you need to do is to go to the Doing Business reports of the past, and you will see Jamaica's ranking. And for any member of the media who needs it, I can send you the rankings so you can see and you can put it in context. The reality is that we have done quite a bit of work in terms of doing business. There's a National Competitiveness Council. That's their goal, is to look at how we can reduce bureaucracy. And as the Prime Minister has said, we just have to accelerate all of that. And the Minister has given some great examples of what is being done. But I do hope that we can just stick to the facts. And the Doing Business report numbers are clearly there online, and we can see where Jamaica ranked every single year. Thank you, Minister. All right, I'm going to be moving on because we do have an important presentation from Heart NSTA Trust, who is going to be a central, Dr. Ingleton, to everything we are doing in relation to our growth program. And I have to acknowledge some individuals who are here to support Heart. Kamisha Turner is here, who is the Executive Director for the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association. And I know I saw Dania Ashpole here, the National Manufacturing Coordinator, and some other members from JAMPRO are here. And so I'm going to turn over to Dr. Ingleton, who is going to announce a new initiative that the Prime Minister hinted at last week.
Thank you so much, Minister. Good morning. Let me acknowledge Senator Dr. the Honorable Dana Morris Dixon, the Honorable Favour Williams. She thinks she just left. And of course, we had with us the Honorable Matthew Samuda, PS Troop, and team members of the Heart NSTA Trust. Good morning. On March 21st, 2024, in his budget presentation, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, communicated a bold and inspiring vision. He stated that the Heart and STA Trust will launch a Skills on Demand portal which will connect skilled professionals with potential employees and clients across the nation. I am proud to say, Minister and PS, that before the calendar year closes, before the end of the financial year, post that announcement, just a mere 251 days, it is our absolute pleasure to be here today to unveil a new chapter in Jamaica's employment landscape, the launch of the Skills on Demand application. Today marks, thank you. Indeed, Minister, today marks a significant milestone in our journey towards enhancing employment opportunities and empowering skilled professionals in Jamaica. I want to say that in a rapidly changing world where digital transformation is helping or happening everywhere, it is essential that we develop skills that carry us forward. From AI and tech to digital marketing and cybersecurity, the world of work is evolving. And so we must evolve with it. And so this app is not just another platform, it is a game changer for Jamaica. It puts people at the center, helping them to connect with work that matches their skills. Whether you are an electrician or a graphics designer, the app allows individuals to list their services and be discovered by employers and clients across the island. And the best part, all service providers on this platform will be certified by the Heart and STA Trust, ensuring that the skills being offered meet the highest standard. But we know that not everyone who is skilled has formal certification. For many of you, you have built your skills through hands-on experience, but you may not have the official qualifications. The Trust will therefore help you to gain the recognition that you deserve. If you are someone with practical, real-world skills, we want to help you to validate and formalize that expertise. And so we encourage you to connect with us and see how we can access the Trust's prior learning assessment services to get you certified. So you can join the app and start offering your services right away. This is not just about individuals getting jobs. It's about accelerating the skills that we need for the future. The app will help people upskill, reskill, and stay ahead of the curve, offering opportunities for growth and professional development. Our app, Minister, currently features 15 critical skills that reflect these trends. We have air condition technician. So if you want someone to fix your AC, you need not be calling all over the place anymore to find out if this individual is capable, is competent, is qualified. You simply need to go on the app and find that air conditioning technician. Cosmetology, right at your home. If you need your hair to be done, you can simply go on that app and get a cosmetologist to come and do your hair. Event planner, fashion designer, furniture maker, and we know the furniture making story, don't we? The general construction worker, the graphics designer, landscaper, mason, painter, pipe fitting technician, the plumber, early childhood teacher PS, electrician, and welder. So these areas are not only, they do not only represent our current market demands, but they also highlight where professionals should focus their efforts in accelerating their careers. Let me also highlight, Minister and PS, something that we're particularly proud of where this app is concerned. This app was developed entirely by our in-house team at the Heart and STA Trust. And this is not just an indication of the incredible talent that we have within the organization, but it is also our commitment to quality. The app itself reflects the standard of excellence that we are striving for, both within the Trust and across Jamaica's workforce. We are putting our best foot forward with this app, and we want to ensure that all users have the highest level of service and the highest level of support. PS and Minister, this launch is also key to our digital-first strategy, which was designed to leverage technology to modernize how we operate and to serve our stakeholders. As we move forward with this strategy, the Skills on Demand app will play a central role in making sure we're not only meeting the needs of today, but also anticipating and preparing the demands for tomorrow. So in closing, before you actually see what it looks like, this app is a major step towards building a more connected, a more dynamic, and a more digitally savvy workforce in Jamaica. It is a tool for empowerment, it is a tool for growth, and a tool for opportunity. If you have your skills, individuals can easily find you. And if it is that you want a service, you can easily find the qualified, the competent, the trusted individuals to offer that service. So we encourage everyone, whether you're seeking employment or looking to expand your business, take full advantage of this platform. And we're going to turn now, Minister, to the video where we're going to be seeing Mr. Colin Holness, our very own Mr. Colin Holness, business intelligence analyst, who we credit for designing this app in the trust. Could we see that video, please? Thank you.
The video, but we will get it to you as quickly as we can. But we do have Minister Samuda just wanted to add something to his presentation. So we'll take that and then we'll get back to the video.
Thank you, Minister. In these matters, it is absolutely important that the public has the exact number. And I did misread one line of a paragraph, and I want to make sure that the public is clear on exactly what the numbers and avoid any mischief. The scale of the challenge is massive. The NWC's age receivables, which covers receivables existing above 6 months, is approximately 58 billion Jamaican dollars. As a subset of this, receivables related to debts existing for longer than 2 years is in excess of 45 billion dollars. So 6 months to 2 years is 13 billion dollars, and above 5 years is $38 billion. So 2 years to 5 years is 7 billion. So when one contemplates above 5 years having such a large number, you see just how uncollectible this volume has been and why this is so critically important to connect persons. So just so that the media has the exact numbers again, total age receivables above 6 months, 58 billion. Total age receivables as a subset above 2 years, 45 billion. As a further subset, total age receivables above 5 years, $38 billion. So just so that there's no room for mischief, because I was speed reading as I was trying to get to a meeting. But thank you very much. But that does show the scale of the challenge and why it is so critically important both for the balance sheet of NWC, but for the balance sheet of households that are existing without potable water. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. And you know, we're very big on having the facts and having the numbers right. And so I thank Minister Samuda for coming and clarifying the numbers. And so I think the video is ready for Skills on Demand app by Heart NSTA Trust.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We are so excited to introduce to you our new mobile app called Skills on Demand, which will seek to provide short to medium-term employment for our skilled and certified professionals while providing quality service to their customers. My name is Colin Holness, a business intelligence analyst with the Heart NSDA Trust and the main developer of this app. Today, we'll be taking a look at this application and its features. We are so passionate about this app and what it has to offer to our nation. And we've spent the past 3 years developing and perfecting this app that we believe is truly makes a difference in the way people connect with our certified and trained professionals. For example, our plumbers, electricians, masons, and so on. Now, the Skills on Demand app was designed to assist our skilled professionals, which is a list of persons who are certified by us at the highest level. This application will not only provide assistance for employment, but also aid us in tracking their employment. This is truly a revolutionary app designed to bridge the gap and connect these skilled professionals with their expecting customers. Skills on Demand is divided into two main sections, one for the customer, one for the provider. When logging into the application for the very first time, you will receive a tutorial that will tell you how to interact with the different sections of the application. Now, let us look at the customer section of the app. Once you have created your account, you will view your home screen that consists of a picture avatar, profile information, a dashboard displaying completed, current, and posted jobs, search categories, the latest activities, and a floating menu bar. Now, customers will be able to engage or search for providers in one of three ways: by skill, by name, or by parish. Once the appropriate provider is found and selected, you will view the provider's profile and will be able to acquire his or her services. Now, once a service or a job is selected, you will be able to set a job location, date, time, and upload an image or a short video, which is optional, before sending your request, which will be received via an email or an in-app notification. Once a job is accepted, a quotation will be sent via email. And once the job is completed by the provider, an invoice will be sent to your email. You will also receive an in-app notification as well. Now, once the job is complete, the customer will be asked to rate the provider's service to complete the process. Hiring has never looked so easy, and this demonstrates the ease at which you will be able to find, hire our skilled and certified professionals. Once you activate your account and log in as a provider, you will be able to view your picture avatar, profile information, a dashboard displaying the completed, active, and requested jobs, and also an app menu. You will be required to respond to all requests. Once open, the provider will view and respond. Once accepted, a quotation will be generated and emailed to the customer. When the job is finished, an invoice will also be generated and sent to the customer via email. When the job is rated, it will automatically move to the completed section of the app. Now, the functionality for both sections are similar with slight variations. Both customer and provider will be able to, in real time, track all their jobs and requests and will be required to always be in contact until the job is complete. Our team has worked hard to create an app that not only looks great, but is also incredibly easy to use. The design is clean, modern, and intuitive, based on extensive user feedback to ensure the best experience possible. Now, we invite you to try our Skills on Demand app today. You can download it from the Google Play or the Apple Play Store from your devices. Experience the difference it makes in your daily lives and see how it can help you stay organized, reduce stress, and help you achieve your goals.
All right, thank you. Thank you to Heart NSTA Trust for working on that. The Prime Minister did announce it this year, and it is here in November, ready to go, and for all of us to use it. And I think the MD also mentioned something that is very important. And I ask everyone who is listening to get the word out. There are many Jamaicans who have a skill. They're good tradespeople, tradesmen and women, but they don't have the piece of paper. Last week, I was in Clarendon at an event, and there was a room at a school, their auditorium, and it was full of people taking exams. They were all older people, and they were there doing exams on plumbing. There was an electrician there that was doing his exam, and there were individuals there in customer service doing their exam. All of them had worked in their field, but they didn't have a piece of paper. And they had gone there that day to do their assessment. They did the written one, and then they were doing a practical after. And within a week, Heart would certify them, whether they're at level 1, level 2, level 3, they would get their certificate. So for those of you who know someone who has a skill but don't have the paper, know that Heart can help you to get the piece of paper. They will come and they will certify you, look at how good you are on the job, and give you the certificate. It is a beautiful program, and this app is really good. I'd have to congratulate the team on it. And I don't know if there are any questions on the app or any other questions. I know there is a jingle that we'll put at the end, but Mahiri will take your questions, and then we'll close out with the jingle.
Thank you, Minister. All right.
Morning. Question for Dr. Ingleton. Trying to link something I heard earlier to what we're talking about now. Minister Samuda mentioned earlier that the persons that are going to be doing the leak detections are specialists from Heart. Could you expound on what these people were doing at Heart to become specialists and how they became in the role that they are in now, if that makes sense?
Going to be. Come on, Dr. Ingleton.
All right, thanks so very much for that question. The Heart NSTA Trust, as we all know, is the leading entity for technical vocational education and training. And so we do have a suite of professionals in various areas, to include water technology. We have instructors in the area as well, and so we are able to help the NWC or any area of government in any specific area that they may need or support. And so with the minister's announcement this morning, there's absolutely no challenge at the trust in identifying these individuals, explaining to them exactly what it is that we want them to do, and move towards the solution. So we do have a suite of certified professionals across the organization, both in our instructor corps and in our trainee corps, as well as in our partnership corps, to solve these problems. Thank you.
Thank you. And are there any other questions? Wonderful. It's been a good morning. And Dr. Ingleton, I don't know if you want to lead us into the jingle and tell us about your Skills on Demand app. But as she closed out, I just want to again reiterate that what you heard this week and what we've been discussing this week is really about initiatives to curtail the cost of living crisis in Jamaica. We understand that a lot of Jamaicans are hurting, a lot of Jamaicans need support, and that is what we have done. And so it really pains me when I see things that say that, you know, these initiatives will not benefit people. It will benefit Jamaicans. It will benefit many of our poor Jamaicans. It will benefit many of our middle-income Jamaicans, our teachers, our policemen, our nurses. It's going to benefit all Jamaicans. There's something there for everyone. And as I said, the government is continuing to work to find other initiatives that can cushion this cost of living crisis that we see, not just in Jamaica, but really all over the world. And so as we close out, Dr. Ingleton, the jingle.
As we continue our marketing strategies to ensure that as many Jamaicans as possible sign up on this app to get the services as well as to deliver the services, we have developed a jingle. King DL is the owner of this one, and we want him to share with Jamaica. And you'll hear it on the radio, you'll hear it on the television, and when you're in your household and a neighbor asks you, okay, where can I get a plumber? You'll just give them a piece of the jingle, help them to sign up on the app, and their plumber will be to deliver the very best services. Over to you, King Deal.
Thank you, Dr. Ingleton. Good morning, everyone. All right, so I know that you guys don't have singing in here too often, so I could never come and do this by myself. So we're all going to sing together. You have 3 words. Skills on Demand. So I will sing I need some skilled workers who have some time. You have skills on demand. So what is the name of the app, everybody? Skills on demand. All right. So it's two different ways of singing it. Though. The first one is skills on demand. Me. Then the next one is skills on demand. All right. Yeah, you have it. You have it. Don't worry. You have it. So let's do a test run of it now. You can run the track. I need some skilled workers who have some time. Skills on. I need a job right now. I'm qualified. Skills on demand. I pay good money. No, you'll do good work. Skills on demand. It's hard just good work is what puts us first. Skills on demand. So remember the first one is skills on demand. Then the second one is skills on demand. All right. Run it from the top now. Give me some volume on the track, please. From the top. I need some skilled workers who have some time. I need a job right now, I'm qualified. Skills on. I pay good money, no you'll do good work. Skills on. It's hard, just good work. Here's what puts us first. Skill, turn up the track, download the app, hold up, don't. Let me hear the track. New app, yo, test this. Need work? Then check this. Now you know there is a place you can get work once you're qualified. Now you know there is a place, employer marketplace. I need some skilled workers who have some time. Skills on them. I need a job right now, I'm qualified. Skills on them. I pay good money, no you'll do good work. It's hard, just good work is what puts us first. Skills on. Download the app, turn up the music a little bit so we can hear the rhythm. Download the app, hey, one more time, everybody. What we say now? Download it. Gonna get it. All right, one last time. You have to go. All right, no problem. So can I do it one last time? All right, she gonna go talk. One last time. This time, don't turn on the music any at all. Let's hear the music so they can hear the rhythm. One last time from the top, and that's it. So keep it up, so. I need some skilled workers who have some time. Skills. Don't turn it down, need a job right now.